December 8th, 2022, 8:27 p.m. Finally got myself stationary. I should be going to sleep, trying to sleep because I need to get up early, but I am wide awake. Wide awake. It is early for me. I mean, I got in the habit of sleeping a little bit earlier than I used to, but tonight I'm wide awake. Right now, anyway. So, today I I listened to a few more videos from Apostle Joshua Selman, and I don't be trying to praise him. I don't believe in worshiping people. So that's not what I'm trying to do, but I am excited about the treasure of his teaching because it has helped me to understand. It connected a lot of dots for me. It connected a lot of dots for me. A lot of things a lot of the information that he teaches, what I came across, some of it, through other teachers that I've encountered in my life. My aunt being one. I keep thinking about her. At the time that she was alive, I had no idea the jewel that she was. I loved her, but I didn't understand spiritual things the way that I do now. And of course, now I still have plenty more to learn and plenty of growing to do or whatever. But I just know that I'm not in the same place now that I was when she was here in this world with me. And like if she was here right now, I could definitely appreciate her teaching a lot more because I understand a lot better. And then different teachers, different pastors that I've had or whatever along the way, or different people that I've encountered, I've gotten bits and pieces from. And right now, as I sit here and I'm still digesting the food from today, from just listening to the teachings of Apostle Selman from earlier today. Still digesting that and processing it, and it's confirmation for a lot of things that people taught me or things that people revealed to me, even if I didn't understand. Because honestly, I did not have the understanding when my aunt was alive. She's passed on years ago. I mean, like almost 20 years ago. My daughter, who's 17 now, was a baby. So, that was a good while. I definitely did not understand what it was that she was seeing. And I can't even say for sure that she completely, because we see in part, God reveals things in part. I don't know the complete reason for that. I guess everything is for us to know. Part of it, I believe, is because we probably can't handle the whole thing if he gave it to us anyway. And also part of it is because of our human minds. Our humanity probably gets in the way a lot of times when God is showing us things. We probably can't decipher it. Anyway, so we see in parts. Then over the past couple of years, he's shown me like a lot. I mean, it's been a just like a slew of revelations over this past 2 years since I've been um going through the situation I'm in now. It's frustrating because to me, it feels like hindsight. That's how I was feeling. It's like, well, what good is it for me to see this now while I'm already, my life has been destroyed, you know? Um, what good is it? But then at the same time, I would think like God is not a time waster. People waste time. That the Antichrist, that's one of his tactics. That's something that Apostle Selman was talking about today, but I'll get to that in a minute. But God is not a waster of time. Like he don't sit around and wait for you. And well, for one, it's not a he. I refer to God as he, but I don't, that's not the way that I understand God to be like a person. That's just the way that I refer to him. Um, but there's not like a God that's sitting somewhere, allowing all these horrible things to happen to you. And then afterwards, he's like, see, like, see, I told you, or whatever. That's not what, that's not a characteristic of the pure energy, the all knowing, all being, all encompassing, all loving, pure love that God is. That's not one of the characteristics. So now it's like, okay, so I need to understand then for me, because my human mind, that's all I can see is what's been lost or what I perceive as lost. Because half of what we be thinking is lost is not actually a loss. It's a win. Some shit, you needed that shit to be gone. Some people need it to be gone. So everything is not a loss that seems like it. But there has been great loss in my life through this experience. And that's something that I'm responsible for. So I say, because God's still showing me, right? So my question to the universe is, what do I do with this? And as I listened to Apostle today, he talked about how the Antichrist works. And I never considered this before tonight, but I never thought about the characteristics of the Antichrist. Like I'm familiar with the Antichrist. I know that it is, this spirit that we've been waiting, not looking forward to, but expecting. People are saying for a long time the Antichrist is coming. I believe that the Antichrist is here and has been for a good while. And when I say a good while, I'm talking like probably, I don't know, but for at least decades, at least decades. And that's just from my limited knowledge. My guess, it could have been hundreds of years for all I know, centuries. I don't know, but I do strongly believe that the Antichrist has been here for decades. I wonder if there's some kind of a event or something that might have marked it, whether we noticed it or not, or whether anybody noticed it whenever the Antichrist entered the world, the spirit of Antichrist, when it was released into the world. I just wonder about that. But anyway, getting back to his teaching today, I never even considered really the actual characteristics of the Antichrist and what his actual purpose. I just knew that it was against God, and to win souls, I guess, away from God. I guess that's maybe how I would have perceived it. And that is what it wants to do. It wants to bind us. It wants to bind us, basically, because God is freedom. That's all it is. That's all it's about. There's freedom in the light, and there's bondage in darkness. Hell, heaven, sin, all that stuff. However however it translates for us, regardless of whatever the religion, whether it's Christianity, Buddhism. Well, Buddhism is not a religion, but whatever our belief system might be, basically just comes down to really simple freedom versus bondage, and that is exactly what the Antichrist seeks to do. It hates everything that's natural. It is against everything that is natural, because everything that's natural is of God. It's of light. Nature is God, basically. The universe, the natural process of life, the natural flow. So Apostle Spellman today was talking about the Antichrist and how it will come and begin to dissimulate your life, and it will have you so bound up, wasting time. That's actually the way that he even described it, about how it will, oh gosh, what he basically saying, how it will just simply just play a lot of games, wasting your time, and have you so frustrated. It seeks to frustrate you so until you are compelled to comply with it, to bow down to it, to worship it, to turn from nature, to turn from all that is good, to turn from light to darkness, and then to worship it, and which in effect is bondage. It makes me really upset when I think about how much I missed in the spirit realm. And then at the same time, I don't know why I'm letting myself go there, because who knows everything and sees everything, who understands everything so much. So many dots were connected today, y'all. So many dots. I remember prophecies that my aunt gave me, and I make reference to her a lot because she was a very, very present force in my life from the time I was a kid. I remember being a small girl, like 9, 10 years old, and her taking me, us going places or something, and going to get Burger King and, whatever, stopping, and I'm sitting up there in the front seat. My feet don't even touch the floor. You know how little kids are. And I just remember that, being with her a lot sometimes, and her talking to me. And all this continued up until adulthood. I remember her talking to me about the kids, praying over them. And in fact, she told me exactly what the apostle said today about holding onto them, praying over them and stuff. And just the way that she said it, she said, you sit there and rock them and pray over those kids, she said. At that time, I had 2 kids. I had just had my third child. My son passed away when he was 1 month old. I had my third child, which was my second daughter, about just under a year after he died, because I was pregnant with her like almost immediately after. So I remember I had 2 kids. Anyway, I just remember a lot of the teachings, the things that the nuggets that she was giving me, and not understanding. And like I said, she may not have even completely understood what God was showing her either. Maybe, maybe not. Probably not. She was giving me what she had, which was very valuable. Very valuable. Some of it I got, but not much, honestly. A lot just went straight over my head. And so I found myself not being sure what to do with this right now. And then I know it's nothing but spirit that nudges me and urging me to reavert my attention, because it's not so that you can feel guilt or hurt or shame from past mistakes or anything like that, because that stuff don't really matter that much at this point. Whatever you didn't know or didn't understand, you know. So if God is still showing me, then that means it's relevant for right now. And that's where, that's where we got to be right now. So what's required right now, that's the part. The apostle went on to talk about how people can be bound up by demons that they've invited in. And he was saying how you can't just have called the enemy in, allow the enemy in, like, okay, I need you to help me with something. And enemy is like, well, no, I don't just help people just like that for free. And you're like, oh, I'm desperate though. So he's like, okay. And then he comes in and whatever, and then you just cast him aside. Don't work like that. He taught on that. Spirit had already gave me that message not long ago. I talked about it in a video. I'm pretty sure I did, because I'd be talking about everything. I'm pretty sure I did. About how, oh yeah, matter of fact, I remember it now. About how you leave a little space for the enemy because you be thinking, oh, it's not a big deal, just whatever. Then that demon comes and it has like 10,000 friends with it that you didn't invite. And now you got them in your house and they ain't leaving. But then he went on to say how some are legally, some of these spirits are legally within right to have access to your life because of covenants and things. That's something else that God has showed me. When I say that this man is an oracle from God, and Lord, and I'm so excited by that, because it's rare. That's something that's rare. Preachers ain't rare. It's preachers and stuff everywhere. Everybody's trying to be a damn preacher or a minister or something. Mostly people want these positions because of the power and the notoriety that comes with it. But when you come across a true oracle of God, a true man or woman of God, like true for real, that truly hears from God, that's truly teaching straight from, straight from source, it's exciting to me, especially in a time like this, because it's like, and then his teaching was a lot more clear. It was more detailed, the way that he teaches, and that's what God does. That is proof. That is proof, because there is confirmation. That is proof that God is real. That is proof that his word is true. That is proof that that is how you know if your prophecies or your messages or whatever comes from God. When there is confirmation, there is proof. God does not just sit around and be wasting his time. So much. There's just so much. He talked about pride, which is something I had a big issue with. And a lot of things, but just so many questions answered. So many questions answered. So now, getting back to the legal rights that some of these demons have to our lives because we allowed them in. And then there's some that are illegally accessing your life. There's different ways this happens. But he was saying how even if it is legal, where you allow the demon in or some kind of covenant was formed somehow, whenever, sometimes you ain't even the one who made the covenant. This is all stuff that God had already done, spoke to me directly. I'm not kidding. Directly from God. God spoke to me, told me all this stuff. Everything that the apostle was saying today. Not saying today. I watched the videos today. They were pre-recorded videos. God had spoke these things to me. But so regardless of how a covenant was made, regardless of how these demons came about or whatever, the problem, the same thing is still the focus, how to get rid of them. They got to go, period. Okay. So it does matter how they came about because that can affect how you deal with it. But still, regardless of how they came about, the whole point that, the whole thing that anybody who's dealing with any kind of demon or spirit from the underworld, we all want the same thing, is for them to be gone. And so he was saying how that can happen. But we, through prayer, and I think about how much praying I was doing before all of this. And then I keep saying that, but not only was I praying, I hadn't got to doing a lot of other stuff that was not helpful. In fact, it was very damaging for me. And that's how these demons came in the first place. If we're going to be real, that's exactly how they had space, because listen, when I think of the demon been after the devil, Lord, the enemy been after my life since I was born. He didn't just all of a sudden decide. No, this attack, the only reason that he was able to come and have this damn demonic ass party that they're having in my life is because I left space for them. The enemy was waiting. He was right there. Just like you have a enemy, a real enemy that really hates you and hates you to the point of obsession. That's how the enemy hates us. He's sitting there waiting for decades, however long he got to, your whole life. The devil will sit there, these demons, not the devil, but there's legions of demons and spirits out here, dark spirits, sitting there waiting for opportunity to destroy you. I had a prophet, and I talked about this before, came and God had showed him, prophesied to me how bad the enemy hates me. And he showed him, God showed this man the angels that were surrounding me. They couldn't touch me. I had another woman of God. That was a man of God. I had a woman of God also. And so all that stuff matters. All of that, those events matter to me because it's all proved. We need confidence. It's just like a relationship, a romantic relationship with your boyfriend or your girlfriend, husband, wife, whatever. They build trust with you through the actions and stuff. The more that they do what they say they're going to do, the more you trust them, The more they're consistent in their treatment of you, the more you trust them and whatever. And so that's kind of how our trust and confidence in God builds over time also. Because once we start to learn and know him, you can't help but trust him because he's true. Tried and true. Consistent. God is consistent. So then I say, well, Lord, if everything that you showed me, if all of these things that you showed me was true and right, correct, and whatever, then there's some other stuff that you showed me too, that he showed me that are good, really awesome, great, wonderful things, right? Some of them I was able to see manifested in my life, and then some things not yet. And I'm saying not yet because I feel like if God did all of that, if he showed me all of this and it was true, tried and true, he never left my side. He warned me every turn. even though I was hard-headed as shit, then that means that the other prophecies and the other promises are mine as well. Because he's not no half-ass God, right? So now what's required? What is required? And if anybody sees, I don't know if anybody hears this. Mostly I do my vlogs for my own benefit because it helps me a lot. I'm very, very isolated, and my situation is extreme. So it helps me to vlog, but I know that sometimes people see my vlogs. So if somebody see and you're going through some kind of spiritual battle, and you might not even know, but study. If you're going through something in spiritual, period, that's pretty much it. There ain't nothing that happens that ain't connected, because everything is connected. To the spirit realm. I mean, there's nothing no happenstance in life that's not in some way connected. And right now we are in a spiritual battle. There's a spiritual warfare going on, not just in my life. Like, the whole spirit realm is not out there just battling over my spirit. The spirit realm, there's a battle over all of God's people. The battle is over all of the souls. And they're getting more desperate. I've been picking up a spirit of desperation for about 2 and some change years, 3 years. Before I even knew I was being stalked, I had been picking up a spirit of desperation. I brushed it off because I was focused on all the bullshit I was doing. But I've been picking up a spirit of desperation. It was an urgent darkness, something urgent in this dark, a strong spirit of deception. When I first encountered these people that they're harassing me about, there was an extreme spirit of deception, y'all, and a strong spirit of desperation. The enemy is desperate because apparently they're on a timer. I'm not going to try to even talk much about that part because I don't know. I don't completely understand. The Bible speaks of a certain amount of time that the enemy has to roam and do his thing before, his time going to be up. I am inclined to believe that is true, judging by the spirit of desperation that is surrounding these spirits in the present day. I mean, it's things, y'all, stuff is, oh boy, it's real out here. It's real. I am inclined to believe that part is true, that the enemy is on a timer. I don't know how that works or whatever. I ain't even finna act like I have all the answers, because I definitely do not. But I'm pretty sure, because of the desperation, it's bad. It's really, really bad. So if anybody watches this that's going through something, if you're under spiritual attack, maybe you've been for years like me, or whatever, there is opportunity for deliverance, but you got to study and listen and take heed to what you learn and stuff. And I don't want to I right now I'm in this situation, but I pray for the day where I'm free and able to speak from that point, from that space. there's been there's been so many revelations during this particular